got me a white-tailed doe. So I'm just gonna show you how to gut her real quick, and then I'm gonna throw her in the back of the truck, fill her full of ice, and head on home. It's been a busy day. 4-hour drive this morning, did a couple shooting videos, came out this afternoon, got this whitetail. Awesome day. Even if your plan is to always just gutless method animals, you should still know how to gut them. There's situations where you get down in some deep dark hole at night, you got to go back to camp to get something, or you just need to just gut the animal, get it cooling down, and come back the next morning and you've got energy. That's fine to do that, but you need to be able to take care of the animal in the field so it doesn't go bad. So you need to be able to gut it and get all the digestive tract out so you can come back later and use the gutless method or quarter it or whatever. So even if you're doing gutless method, you still need to know how to get the guts out of an animal is my point. All you need, guys, is a knife. I like to have a sharpener too. I'm gonna throw on my hat with my GoPro so you can follow along from my perspective. Get the animal laid out here flat for you. So here, go under the skin. So here you're fine, but once you get here, you want to be careful because you can pop the guts. So generally what I'll do is I'll get a hole here. I also wanted to mention that I'm sure there are a bunch of viewers out there that have tips and tricks, and they have their own way of doing this type of field dressing. So if you're one of those folks, please leave your thoughts in the comments. This is easiest if you do it fresh. Once they get bloated up and there's a lot of pressure there, it's a little bit harder. Okay, and you want to go dead center there, between her hips, right to when we're getting to her butt. I'll go in here to the rear end of the animal and just go around the anus. You don't want to go real deep or you can hit the bladder, okay, but you want to loosen all that up in the kind of pelvic bone. You'll feel the bone edges here, okay? So you've got the digestive tract loosened there. And then at this point, you can just go down here and meet those cuts up. And then what I like to do here is, so you want to go between the two hams, and you're going to find like the apex of the pelvic bone in here. Now on male anatomy, this is a doe, obviously, there's no genitalia up here in front. On males, their penis and balls will be here, so you'll have to loosen that up and put it back here so it can get pulled through with the guts. So one side of the pelvic bone there, then here's the other side. It's a little tricky. Okay, so this is like the point of her hip there. Okay, and you'll see why I'm going down a little bit in a minute. So this is the pelvic bone here. You can saw that out if you want to get the guts out. Abdominal cavity there. Make sure you don't cut into that stomach. And here on a small whitetail like this, you can actually just go to one side of that sternum, and you'll actually be able to cut up through those ribs. And that'll help you when you reach up in here. She was all heart and lung shot. So in here, what I'll do, I'll use my knife, cut this diaphragm off. Okay. You can just grab all this, tear it out one big chunk. Now, if you're doing this to an elk that you're gonna leave in the field, you wanna cut this open, and I'll show you how to do that with an axe right now. So you can do this. You can do this pretty meticulously if you've got a hammer, but I'm just gonna do it on this whitetail here. This. Okay. Here. And then you could actually take out the whole section if you want. Okay. So this is my preferred way to get a deer cleaned out, or elk if I'm gonna leave it for the night, let it cool down. Cut that hip bone out, get that out. If you happen to pop the bladder, or the bladder leaked, or there's injury there or whatever, make sure you swipe that out, right? And get that piss out of this channel as much as possible. This is just blood here, but everything else too, just try to get those tenderloins nice and clean. If you're in the field, like this is an elk that you're just cleaning up for the night and you're gonna come back in, take these tenderloins out and take them back to camp with you. They'll dry out kind of, and you'll lose a little bit off of them if you don't do that. So make sure you do that. In this case, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave them in because I'm gonna pack her full of ice and then throw her into the truck. You know, if you can get all this out, it's great. In this case, I couldn't get a hold of her trachea because it had got blown apart. So I might cut her up a little bit more here. Just to get this trachea out here. Trachea has obviously like food matter in it, so it's one of the areas where they will go bad also. So just clean all that out, get the trachea completely out, and that's a nice, clean deer. All right, guys, the last thing I'll show you real quick is just how to remove the legs. So the key on a hind leg is the joint is lower than you think, right? So it's actually down in here in this lower part. Here, you can just go around, you'll find that joint. You'll pop it there. Like that. This one here, I'll show you from the other side. So hamstring pocket here, the joint's actually down in here. It's gonna seem way lower than what you'd think. You'll know it when you pop it. You know, on these deer, they're kind of forgiving. Elk, you've really gotta hit it or you're not gonna break it. You can see it right there. So I've popped it there. Okay, on the front leg here. Again, it's lower than you think. It's not quite as low as the hawk, but it's lower than you think, and you hit it. And it might take you a couple tries. I've done it a lot, so I tend to hit it on the first try. Okay, here's another one. So right there, kind of lower third of that knee. See it there? Okay, so legs gone. All right, so let's see if we can find our heart. So this is the liver. These are the lungs. They're blown to pieces. Here, the heart is actually looks like it's okay. It looks like I just destroyed her lungs. So while I'm getting this liver out, guys, I wanted to mention that I'm going to have a specific venison heart video coming out in the next couple weeks. So subscribe to the channel. You'll see that video when it comes out. And I cover everything in that video. I've got it half edited right now. I cover, you know, how to prep a venison heart, how to clean it, and how I cook it. My family and myself, we love heart from game animals, but I think it's really specific on how you take care of it and how you cook it. So watch that video and tell me what you think, guys. And also, I'm going to put up a written part of that whole deal. I'm going to put up the recipe and some additional guidance via an article on my blog and newsletter. So go to pursuitwithcliff.com and sign up for the newsletter there, and you'll get that info when it comes hot off the press.
Where's our heart? There's our heart. So we can just open that pouch. It gives us our heart. Oh. Okay, so there's our heart. Here again, I can kind of let her drain. All good.
So I actually think this whitetail, I can fit her in that cooler. And the way we're gonna do that is I have to take her head off. What you wanna do is go right here behind their joint, or their jaw, excuse me. This knife's gonna get doled up by this, but go in here. You wanna find that last vertebrae. And you'll know it's like the joints on the thing. It's kind of a curved joint there. Get in there. Cut across her throat. Kind of gonna match up to that back. That's the last chunk of the spinal column there. Our head's gone. All right, so she's gonna go in. Then I'm gonna throw the ice on her, then the liver and heart inside there. Close that cooler up. Call it a trip. And I know this video is very road accessible centric type of field dressing, but I've got another video coming out. It's gonna cover a bunch of tips that I think most folks haven't heard before. And it's gonna cover stuff that's useful in this situation where it's fairly accessible, but most of those tips are more gonna apply to the backcountry scenario. So subscribe to the channel or just come back and check when that video posts. You guys will get a bunch of value from that video.
Getting there where it's going to cool those hams down. She'll be cold tonight. Throw this in there because there's hair. I'm going to keep that off these organs. So I'll make sure and close that real good. Throw that on ice, lock it down. Ready to hit the road. We'll open this just so it leaves a blood trail, but really just so her hide doesn't soak. All right, so that's it. We're gonna hit the road.